If you have ever wondered who this Isaac guy was and why his assist trophy is pushing you around, then hang out and listen to my notes on one of my favorite RPGs. Golden Sun is a turn-based RPG that was developed by Camelot and published by Nintendo in 2001. Camelot's original concept was for a large-scale RPG on the Nintendo 64, but they then realized that the GameCube was soon going to replace the N64 as the leading Nintendo home console. This left Camelot with a decision to make, and they decided to forge ahead by splitting the game into two separate Game Boy Advance games, as what they had in mind would not fit onto a single cartridge. The GBA was still pretty new itself, having only released the previous summer, and sales for Golden Sun were fairly high. It was reviewed well at the time, and currently holds a 91 out of 100 on Metacritic, as well as an 89% rating on Game Rankings. Golden Sun has a solid fan base that has never really given up hope on the franchise, with people still requesting a remake or new game every year. I've heard a lot of folks mention updating it similar to the recent Mana remake, but I would like to see something kind of like the Link's Awakening remake to keep with the chibi style of the sprites. What would your dream Golden Sun remake or remaster look like? Tell me in the comments. Some good news on that front. It was just revealed to us that GBA games are coming to the Nintendo Switch as part of the online expansion pack. One of the games they showed as coming soon was Golden Sun. Fingers crossed for the Lost Age in the near future. The game invoked a retro 16-bit style that the GBA absolutely excelled at. It can look a bit crusty on modern software due to stretching, apologies myself there, but the art design was perfectly portioned on the GBA screen. Once the GBA SP came out and solved our lighting issues, this game became a marathon experience for me. The story takes place in the world of Weyard, a place where magic exists in the forms of alchemy and synergy. Alchemy is the study of the elements and how their powers are intertwined into the world itself. Synergy is equivalent to magic and is based upon the four main elements. People who can use synergy are known as adepts. These elements are represented through the four distinct clans of adepts: Venus for earth, Mars for fire, Jupiter for air, and Mercury for water. Synergy can be used both in battle and the overworld, with some spells being exclusive to each setting. Golden Sun makes great use of the field synergy through various puzzles and even backtracking once you have unlocked later synergy abilities. Some examples are pushing a statue out of your way, creating a pillar of ice by freezing a puddle, or growing a climbable vine with a unique field synergy only accessible by mixing and matching the elemental Djinn. The elemental Djinn are small magical creatures that were released into the world during the opening events of the game. They are balanced across the four various elements and will be equipped to party members after collecting them. Some are rewards for a field puzzle, while others can even show up as random world battles. By keeping the Djinn equipped to the party member of the same element, you will unlock very powerful unique spells to use in battle. The real fun comes when you start mixing and matching the various elements on different party members. This can unlock new spells and even field synergy as previously mentioned. Collecting all of the Djinn can be a bit tedious, but they all have unique names which will allow you to use a guide to help fill out the list. Golden Sun opens with the main character of Isaac, 13 years old at the time, being woken up by his mother due to the nearby Mount Aleph erupting. Once she helps you grab your cloak, and the game gives you your first look at field synergy, the player is told to head south to the town center for safety. Isaac then finds his best friend Garrett, attempting to carry all of his belongings at once. Garrett may be a year older, but he isn't exactly known for his wisdom. The two boys soon find themselves taking an alternate route due to falling rocks, and even witness several town elders holding back a massive boulder with their synergy. On their way to safety, the pair come across a perilous scene. A neighboring family is attempting to rescue their son from the raging river. Isaac's parents are here attempting to help as well. The boy, Felix, is managing to cling to a branch at the moment, so the adults send his sister Jenna to seek help in the town square. Upon seeing the boys, they are also dispatched to search for help from somebody who still has some synergy left to save Felix. All three children end up finding one adult who has recharged and travel back to Felix and the rest as a group. Right as they arrive, disaster strikes. The boulder has broken free and comes crashing through the scene in a nice use of still images to avoid anything too gruesome. Everyone on the dock and Felix in the river are all gone. Isaac's father, Jenna's entire family, just like that. With barely any time to process, the boys rush off to get the rest of the adults and attempt to salvage some part of the situation. They encounter a pair of mysterious strangers that seem frustrated and mention something about Soul Sanctum. The boys end up engaging this pair in battle, and they very quickly get knocked unconscious. The boys never really mentioned this part of their adventure to anyone, as it seemed pretty minor compared to the tragedy that had just occurred. Cut to 3 years later. Isaac and Garrett have spent these last 3 years training both their bodies and synergy and have grown into proficient adepts in their own right. They are joined by Jenna, and the group goes to continue their studies with the sage Creighton. Creighton is an elderly scholar who came to Vale in order to learn more about alchemy and synergy. He's a bit eccentric, but typically means well and would not wish to see anyone come to harm. On their way, the party encounters the mysterious strangers again. They move on without any conflict this time, but Creighton is visibly worked up once they arrive. The entire group goes to investigate information learned by Creighton and finds themselves unlocking and accessing the depths of the alchemic ruins inside of Mount Aleph, Sol Sanctum. When Isaac and Garrett begin collecting the rare artifacts known as elemental stars, the mysterious strangers reveal themselves as Mars adepts Sarturos and Minardi. They then take Creighton and Jenna hostage. They have with them a masked stranger and a powerful Mercury adept named Alex. The villains force Isaac and Garrett to gather the remaining elemental stars, and in the process reveal the masked man as none other than Jenna's supposedly deceased brother, Felix. Once the last star is removed, Mount Aleph begins to erupt again. The antagonist party flee back through the portal, but Isaac and Garrett are stranded. A giant stone creature known as the Wise One introduces itself and rescues the boys, while also assigning them the monumental task of collecting and returning the now stolen elemental stars. Once free of the danger, the boys go and report everything that has happened to the village elders. The elders are understanding of their intentions, but agree with the Wise One's task. Due to this, the boys are essentially banished from the village until the stars are returned. The villagers are not mean about this and even see the two off at the beginning of their journey. Shortly after leaving home, the two will encounter a young man with reported strange powers. Upon closer inspection, they learn that this boy is also an adept like them. Ivan is a Jupiter adept with a unique field synergy called Mind Read. This ability does exactly what it sounds like and is really fun to hotkey to one of the shoulder buttons. It's only ever required a couple of times through the story, but I've probably used it on every available NPC over the years. I really respect how much extra dialogue was written for a mostly optional mechanic. Ivan joins the party in pretty short order, and the three journey onwards in pursuit of Sarturos and Minardi. They will fight through caves, forest, and all the typical RPG settings, eventually making their way to the cold north and the imposing Mercury Lighthouse. Here the party will meet the final member of their team, a wise young Mercury adept named Mia, who is a respected healer in her village. Mia has past experience with Alex, as he is from her clan and used to be her apprentice. The four team up and climb the lighthouse together and have their next big encounter with Sarturos and Minardi. I won't go much deeper than that, as if you're this interested, I hope you take the time to play this game for yourself. Remember that it will be getting a bit easier in the near future with the Switch release. Golden Sun tells the first half of a great story that continued in the sequel, The Lost Age, but we will get into that in a future video. Please subscribe so you don't miss it or any other games you might like. Thank you for any and all of your time. I have been Dr. Ursa. Those were my notes on Golden Sun. Take care.